All right, we are live on YouTube. Welcome to a very special episode of Navigating the Modern World with Eli. Glad you could all join me here tonight. I have a very special impromptu show here to present. There have been a lot of things surrounding my neck of the woods over here, or our neck of the woods here at the GNA, short for January Networking Association. It looks like we're having some issues here, and I think we're doing okay. Yeah. Okay, yeah, no, we're good. I had some issues. I updated to the latest version of OBS, and I think I fixed the issue. I tried to go live a few minutes ago, but it told me that there was something wrong with my connection, but I believe that I have fixed that. Anyway, I've got a lot to talk about here, and I don't want to be on too terribly long. I want to spend some time with my lady, but there have been some things surrounding myself and another YouTuber out here, and it is something that has been majorly affecting myself, the GNA, and many other people. If you're not aware, I am the plaintiff in a circuit civil case. I'm suing another YouTuber out here who's the defendant, who has been commercially exploiting me, defaming me, and much, much more for many, many years. We're in active litigation, and he just doesn't seem to stop. I don't know what's going to get him to stop his behavior. I am not asking him to chill his speech. I am not asking him to do fair use properly, but he uses large portions of my videos and streams and feels that fair use is absolute. He continues to defame me and tries to shield it behind freedom of speech, as you know, he thinks freedom of speech and the First Amendment is absolute. It is not. There is such a thing as defamation. But we're going to get into all of that in just a little bit. First of all, before we get into all of that, let me make sure that everything is rolling smoothly. Haven't done a stream from the studio in a while. Looks like the back end of YouTube is rolling well, and it also looks like the notification has gone out. Let me check out. To stop his behavior, it's rolling. I am not asking him to chill his speech. I am not asking him to do fair use properly. But he uses large portions of my videos and streams. Did I say I'm not asking him to use fair use properly? I mean, I'm not asking him to not use my content, but use it under fair use. Maybe I said that wrong. Sorry. I'm a little all over the place right now because there's been a lot going on, and had some issues with OBS that I seem to have fixed. Let me see if I'm going to test something here real quick before we continue. Let me turn this on for a second here. Give me just a second. Make sure that this started properly. Okay, it looks like it did start properly. Let me go ahead and test this one more time. Sorry about that. All right, everything seems to be rolling well. Yeah, sorry, it's been over a month since I did a studio stream, since I've done a studio stream, and OBS had a major update, and I had to make sure everything was rolling smoothly. But anyway, yeah, how's it going, babe? My lovely lady Dawn is in the chat, respectfully, maturely, and professionally. Dawn, ODN TV's in the house. So the title of this stream is, how much more ridiculous is this going to get? One more time. The topic of this stream is, how much more ridiculous is this going to get? The defendant in my circuit civil case, his name is Jamie, did a live stream earlier tonight on YouTube. Typically, he'll rebroadcast or simulcast his live streams on Rumble. He didn't do that. And because he was using large portions of my content, he mentioned he was going to delete his stream, and he did. So, fortunately, I was screen recording the whole thing. If not, I would have to ask him for a copy of it through Discovery. And him and I have this confidentiality agreement where we can exchange videos that have been, removed or placed to, private or unlisted. But I really don't want to keep doing that back and forth with him. I don't want to play games with this guy. This guy, for some reason, continues to just want to play games regarding everything. And I'm not here to play games. I'm really not. Additionally, I'm beginning to think that the defendant in my circuit civil case is very paranoid. I think he feels like everyone is out there to try and screw him. I'm not out there to try and screw you, sir. Like, I just want relief from, all of the actions you're taking that have affected me civilly. You have civilly violated me. You have massively infringed upon my copyright with your watch parties, rebroadcasts. You have commercially exploited me. You have defamed my character. And again, tonight, you defamed my character. And I'm going to share more why. And let's make it very clear. I'm not out to get this guy. I don't hate anyone. I don't even hate this guy. I really don't hate anyone. I just don't like the fact that for the last 7 or 8 years, it's been 7 or 8 years, that, he continues to exploit my name and likeness and continues to make lots of money doing it because a small group of people enjoy it. They get a thrill out of it. They get a thrill out of seeing him make money at my expense. Hey, Shauna, how are you doing? Welcome to the show. And that's what keeps it going. It's really sad that the people in his audience and other similar type of drama groups that have a similar audience that pay creators to exploit people, right? It makes me wonder, what is the point? What are you getting out of it? Is it masking some underlying issue or pain that you've been going through? Do you like to see people suffer? Is it because maybe you're suffering, and if you're suffering, you feel other people should suffer too? I just don't understand it. I'm going to share some things that happened tonight on his live stream off the top of my head. I did transfer the screen recorded version of his stream from my iPhone to my laptop. I did run it through my transcription program. I did run it through ChatGPT. But I'm not going to sit here and read off a script or anything. I'm going to go off the top of my head because this is stuff that actually I've dealt with it and I know it firsthand. And speaking about it from my heart is going to be a lot better not just for me, but for you folks out there as well. One more time, let me make sure everything is rolling smoothly here. Let me make sure the sound is okay. I just don't understand it. I'm going to share some things that happened tonight on this live stream off the top of my head. I did transfer the screen. All right, looks like we're still rolling well. First things first. At the beginning of the stream, the defendant mentioned that he was going to play my stream that I had just finished maybe a little less than an hour before he went live. So I ended up putting that stream to private with the intention of putting it back to public once his stream ended. The reason why I put it to private is I didn't want him to commercially exploit me. I have the right to protect my content. But he also has the right to ask for a copy of that stream. Again, I had the intention of putting it to public. That video, by the way, is back to public from earlier today. Again, I just didn't want him commercially exploiting me. I have the right to protect my content in that way. I can flip my content to private, public, unlisted as much as I want, as long as I preserve a copy for him at his request. Okay. Now there is, a formal process to request videos through Discovery. He's already made me do that. But for me, I have just given him whatever he's requested fairly quickly, one way or another, either uploading it to my private server and giving him a link. If I don't want to put that video back to public, that's private. Or if I'm temporarily putting the video to private, I'm putting it back to public in the same exact way, unaltered as it was before I put it to private. Okay? So I put the video to private, and he had already buffered part of it, started playing it, and then it went to private, and then he got really ticked off about it, and he started to say, oh, that's spoliation, or whatever. He started to say, oh, if you don't put that video back to public now, I'm gonna, I can't remember if he said request it through Discovery or take care of it through the court. But then he paused for a second and he was typing. Apparently he was typing into ChatGPT, and then he sent me an email in the middle of his live stream requesting a copy of that video through email. Requesting a copy of that video through email, or he would have to get it through the formal process of Discovery through the court, right? Now, I've constantly told this guy, whatever video you need, let me know. I'll get it to you, if not right away, within 3 days or less, right? But when I asked him for one video, the March 11th video, that he has now been court-ordered to produce by April 1st, he basically told me that asking for a video through email is improper, which you're supposed to do that. You're supposed to meet and confer first and only use the court as intervention if necessary, right? So when I asked him for this video, he told me to go through the formal process of Discovery. So I did that. I sent him a formal request. I then filed an expedited motion, to produce that video quicker than the 30 days of the standard process because I need that video for the anti-SLAPP hearing on April 9th. We had that hearing a little over a week ago, and Judge Stacy granted my order because, she basically saw, more prejudice towards me if I didn't have that video. So when the defendant's video or stream ended earlier tonight, I ended up responding to his email and I flipped the video back to public. And I told him the video, is unaltered. Then he sent me an email back asking for like more specifics, like asking me for, what time was it put to private and this and this and that. I gave him the video. It's unaltered. Sir, you're watching right now or you'll be watching tomorrow. I'm sure you're watching right now. I gave you the video. It's the unaltered video. The chat is not available yet because sometimes it takes up to 12 hours for a live stream to process and for the replay to show. Tomorrow when you get up, you will see the live stream replay, and that'll be 100% guaranteed proof that I did not edit the video. The parts that you're looking for in there regarding your channel, could be facing platform enforcement, it's in there. It's all in there, sir. Watch the video. But it's still processing. It may take until tomorrow at some point to finish processing, and once it's done processing, the live chat will show. And sir, whenever you edit a video on YouTube, the live chat is gone. If you don't edit the video, the live chat is there. That'll be the proof right there. I will not be responding to your email. I don't owe you anything more than that. I've given you more than I should. I'm not forcing you to go through discovery. But guess what? You asked me for that video. You've been court ordered to produce a video by April 1st. And now it's March 27th. Tomorrow's the 28th. And you still have not produced that video, which is fine. You have till April 1st, but you have some nerve to ask me to produce a video without court intervention, which I'll do that because you know what? I'm a compliant type of person, right? I'm not trying to hurt anyone, including you. You asked me to produce a video, yet you still have not produced a video that you're court ordered to produce. Granted, again, you still have until April 1st, like 4 days or so? 4 or 5 days? Hey, Rock. Hey, Lewis. Hey, everyone. So, I don't understand what your thought process is. I don't understand. Are you extremely paranoid? Are you an extremely paranoid person? Is this like a control thing for you? I don't understand. I'm not trying to screw you over. I'm protecting myself from my civil rights that I feel you're violating. And you're trying to make it as difficult as possible in every single aspect. You make every single thing difficult. You twist everything. You take things at minimal out of context, and a lot of the times you can be even defamatory. I sent you the video. Tomorrow, you will... Actually, I put the video back to public in its original form. The chat is there. Everything is there. The thumbnail, everything is there. When the chat shows, you'll know it's not unedited. You can watch it tonight. It's not unedited. You can download it tomorrow when it finishes processing. No problem. If that's not enough for you and you want to file a motion because you think I edited something I didn't, go right ahead. And we'll be right back in court for another hearing. And the same thing is going to happen that happened at the spoliation hearing. I don't get it. I just don't understand what your issue is. It's like you feel like you have to always be right, even when you're wrong, or even when someone's trying to be nice to you and do the right thing. I'm not trying to harm you. I just want relief from what I feel and know is causing me harm that you're doing. I've asked you nicely over the years to stop. You've told me to shove it up my ass, and you've given me the bird. I've had enough of that. That's why we're in court. That's why we're in court. As far as the likeness detection, I mentioned it on my stream earlier. I'll mention it again. The copyright match tool and likeness detection are now working hand in hand. They are two separate systems, but they work closely together. The copyright match tool works on copyrighted content from your channel. If you're monetized, once your streams are done processing and your videos, pre-recorded videos are uploaded and done processing, you get protection from the copyright match tool. The likeness detection looks for your likeness. And it's reacting very fast, even on unlisted videos, even on private videos. Now, you asked earlier on your stream, why would I want to remove a video that's not private? It doesn't matter. The video that you created to use in court that you put unlisted, that was flagged by the likeness tool, likeness detection. You took a 7 or 8 year old recorded phone call I had with ODN, who's my friend now. He's always been my friend, but we weren't talking back then because he thought I was working with you. He got upset. He released that video, or he released that audio, and he edited it out of context to make it sound worse than it is. And some of those screenshots may be real, some not, regarding all those doxing allegations and all that, but I never ever doxed any of those people. Those were all privately done. Those were all private conversations where I was in severe emotional distress. Why, Mr. Defendant? Do you remember when you and your buddy, what do you call him, JP, the Beard and the Mothless, and other people, do you remember when Upland Road, which is the street I live on, it's okay, I can talk about my own address. I'm not going to, people can see my name, they can look up and find out where I live. I don't care. But if anything, you guys were doxing me. People were doxing me in your chat, and you did nothing about it. Right? So it upset me. It caused me emotional distress. And I wanted it to stop. All of you people were doxing me, were doing a lot of harmful things to me, and I wanted it to stop. So back then, 7, 8 years ago, I was talking with ODN behind the scenes out of frustration. Those were private calls, private messages. But none of those acts ever happened. The only thing, I already admitted that the audio is fake and he's playing it. You edited that audio out of context. Do you hear that puck, 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 puck? You hear those sounds in there, ODN? The puck, 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 puck. Those were all the cuts. The puck, 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 puck. In that audio, puck, 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 puck. All those were cuts. I'm sorry, ODN. You're usually a great editor, but you did a really shitty job editing that. You did a horrible job editing that. 1 minute delay between what I say and what goes out. Give me a second. With ODN behind the scenes out of frustration. Those were private calls, private messages. All right, just wanted to make sure that the audio was still rolling good. Okay. But here's the thing. The only thing I did, and it was brought up at the spoliation hearing, was that image of the house. You know what house it is. I don't want to say it again, but you know what I'm talking about. I was asked about that at the stalking hearing where you tried to get an injunction on me. And Judge Bowie said, when did that happen? You said 2019. And she goes, it's 2025. So you're trying to adjudicate things. You're trying to adjudicate things that happened 7, 8 years ago, 6, 7, 8 years ago. Now, you can use those things as pattern evidence. You can, but you cannot file a claim for a defamation or anything like that because it's beyond the statute of limitations. I did that regarding the home because I was frustrated. You would not stop. You guys kept putting my address out there and other things, and you were actively participating in that. But I let that go. That's why I reacted, and I was in extreme emotional distress. Now, you accused me of doxing Brianna. Behind the scenes, I did say those things, but I never did it. It's one thing to say those things in a private call or conversation, even if it gets leaked. It's a private call, a private conversation. I never did the act. But you're now making it sound to your audience that I factually doxed Brianna, and you just republished that tonight on your stream. You accused me of doxing Brianna. That is a false statement of fact. What I did do was behind the scenes, I said what I said to ODN, but the act never happened. Now, if you wanted to explain that properly to your audience and shield yourself from defamation, you could have said, Eli had a private conversation with ODN, and he was really mad, and he was talking about potentially doxing Brianna. That would be fair. But no, you didn't say what actually happened. You said Eli doxed Brianna. Prove to me and the court and everyone else that I actually publicly doxed Brianna. Prove it, because that's what I'm going to ask you in court if you try to use that clip. Additionally, it doesn't involve you. But if you're trying to create a pattern of Eli's behavior, all that stuff happened 7, 8 years ago. I've done none of that since. And you're going that far back because you have nothing else, and you need to find something to justify why you filed that stalking order to defend yourself from the malicious prosecution cause of action that I have pled in my Second Amendment complaint. So you accused me of doxing Brianna. Prove it. I'm going to ask you to show me proof. Where did I publicly dox Brianna? I was talking about it with ODN. I was talking about it out of frustration. Again, the proper way to say that would have been Eli was discussing potentially doxing Brianna. But I ended up not doing it. Lots of people have frustrating moments behind the scenes, and then they cool down and don't do the act that would affect them. But you're telling your audience that I actually doxed Brianna as a false statement of fact. You have a serious issue of wanting to, for some reason, you want to destroy me. For some reason, you want to destroy me. That's what I feel. You continue to smear me. Okay? You accuse me. Well, I can't remember if it was an accusation, but you were saying in that video about doxing JB. I think that was a message I sent to JB. I was frustrated. I can sit there behind the scenes, have private conversations, and vent and have moments and say whatever I want. But if I don't do the harmful action, then it's not factual. It's Eli got triggered. Eli had a moment. Eli was venting. Okay? Judge Bowie told you in the stalking case, you accused me of threatening to release your license plates or something when I was trying to serve you for the Copyright Claims Board case I filed on you last year that you opted out of. I was trying to serve you and you were avoiding service. So the process serving company, ABC Legal, that's also a private investigation company, they have the legal rights to run plates to see if somebody's there so they can find you to serve you. Perfectly legal. All I said was that, hey, if you're trying to avoid service, just know ABC Legal ran your plates and they know you're there. I didn't put your plates out there publicly. I didn't put the address out there. But you're trying to accuse me that, I put your plates out or I threatened to put your plates out. Judge Bowie said, did he do it? Did he do it? No, I didn't do it. It's one thing to have a moment like we all have. It's another thing to actually do the act. And then what matters is how you frame it to your audience. You seem to take all these things out of context and you frame them as factual when it was Eli having a moment behind the scenes because you guys were doing all that stuff to me. Hope you win your copyright case against that guy. Been off YouTube for a while. Well, welcome back. Joe Dirt, welcome back. How you been? Hey, welcome. Some of those words were spliced together and you can clearly hear it. It's a sloppy edit. It was a sloppy edit. I know you were mad at me back then because you thought I was working with the defendant, Jamie, but I wasn't. And I understand why you did what you did. But the thing is, I never doxed those people. Never did. The only thing I did was put out that picture on a live stream for 30 minutes of the house the guy's talking about. I don't want to rehash the whole thing, but that was adjudicated at the spoliation hearing. That was 2019. This guy is trying to go back to 2019 and 2018 and reassert all that stuff and present it as factual so that way it continues to enrage his audience to donate to him and it continues to affect my growth out here. He continues to feel the need to smear my name, and that's why we're in court. You can present all of those videos. You can present those videos. I'm going to ask you to furnish proof that I actually did what you have factually stated publicly, republished. And I have a screen recorded version with the chat, everything from your stream earlier tonight. And I'm not going to ask you to produce a copy because I got it. I'm not going to burden you, even though it's a burden for me to have to screen record your stuff because you delete the stuff and then you make it difficult for me to get the evidence. Unlike, on the flip side, I make it easy for you. I just sent it to you, right? You can use that in court, and I'm going to ask you to furnish proof. Also, additionally, here's the thing, Jamie. Here's the thing. I know right now you're in a position where you have to handle your case the way you're handling it, right? There are a few instances of some recordings out there that paint me in a negative light. The first one is, again, the embezzlement accusation that you have repeatedly put out there as a false factual statement. That never happened. I never told that person anything like that. Why would I say something that never happened? Why would I say something that never happened? You made that up, sir. Or maybe your whole team of people made that up and you rolled with it for content because you probably thought that I was never going to sue you for all this, right? Because it was beyond the statute of limitations, which is 2 years for defamation in Florida. But you repeated it after I filed this case, which makes it actionable. Now, it's not on the Second Amendment complaint because it happened afterwards, but I can file it as a notice of filing, which I have, and use it for the anti-SLAPP and use it for the remainder of the case. It never happened. Then I ask you for proof of that too. And I'm going to, under penalty of perjury, state that I've never said that to anyone because it never happened. I have no criminal history. I have no record, no nothing. We can always subpoena the former owner of the business because they sold the business now to somebody new. We could subpoena my brother, and they know that it never happened. So here's the thing. You know I didn't do that. You all know I didn't do that. But you continue to amplify that even to this day. And even before you created the I believe you embezzled video, you said it a few streams before. You said it in your own mouth, non-parody style. But then you amplified it through the parody after stating it out of your own mouth. And you used my caricature that's recognizable to your audience and mine, and your caricature. And you couldn't even do it originally. You had to steal R. Kelly's I Believe You Can Fly and say, I believe you embezzled. Boy, dude, that's really original, man. You can't even do a parody in your own style. You got to use my likeness in caricature format. You got to use R. Kelly's I Believe I Can Fly. Where's the originality? Where's the originality? In that video, you took ODN's highly edited out of context, privately recorded conversation between him and I. You took that and you overlaid one of my walking streams, and you used AI to match up the audio to make it appear like it was coming from one of my walks. And that's why the likeness detection caught it, because you tried to synthetically alter my voice from a recorded phone conversation into another video of mine to make it appear like I was saying it on a walk. And you're going to present that to the court? And you don't think I'm going to bring that up? And then at the end of that video, you had another person saying something that was way out of context. Here's the thing. In that recorded video, in that recorded conversation, the person was saying that that I paid her to go across the country, and because of that, those kids had to move. Here's the thing. The context you're not telling your audience that you know and she knows and everyone knows is that when her and I were friends back then, she had filed to get a restraining order on JB because JB was massively harassing her and massively harassing me. She added me as a third party on that RO. I have a copy of that RO. I have a copy of that RO still. But anyway, I donated money to her because we were trying to stop the harassment. And JB was living with this woman named Anna. Everybody in this group knows who Anna is, right? Who then left JB and got with this other guy named Coach. Let's just call him Coach J, right? So now the story, to try to make Eli look worse, to keep the donations coming, right? Now, we paint Eli as an embezzler, which he's not. Then we paint him as someone that pays someone to drive across the country. And because of that, the kids had to move. No, that wasn't the truth of the story. The truth of the story was I donated money to her so she can go find JB to serve him for a restraining order that she had listed me on as a third party. As a third party, person that was also being harmed by him. Ultimately, she found him, got him served, and got the order. Now, as far as what happened to the kids of Anna, that's her business. It had nothing to do with me donating money to this woman to help her get an RO on the same person that was harassing him and I. Sorry, harassing her and I. But now you want to paint this as, oh, okay, well, she owned up to her part of the kids having to move. But then you want to paint me as the one that caused that? None of us caused that. That may have been something that happened collaterally because of what he was doing to harm us. I think he really is. I'm tired of you people spinning things out of context. I'm tired of that. I'm going to ask you in court, if you play all that, to show me the proof, right? And if you say, okay, I'm going to have people come in and testify. Okay, well, I'm going to testify under oath, under penalty of perjury, that this is not what happened. And after a while, I'm sure Judge Stacy, and if we get to a jury trial, if we end up going to trial, it'll be a jury trial, or who knows? Maybe we'll get a summary judgment from the bench. We'll figure it out. At some point, they're going to see the pattern of what's happened here. Additionally, if your channels are removed for terms of service, you only have yourself to blame. What I said earlier on my walk is that private, public, unlisted, I have the right to protect my content. And using YouTube as an evidence locker is not the most professional or right thing to do for court, because YouTube can platform enforce materials. And yet people in your chat saying, oh, Eli said this. I'll tell you again what I said right here. You should be getting a private server like I have, or Dropbox or something. With all the money you've made off my name and likeness, you can't even afford to self-host your own videos. You've got to use YouTube as an evidence locker and then get mad when the tools that I have to protect me from copyright infringement and to protect my name and likeness from being exploited, when I use those tools, rightfully so, legally, you get pissed off and say, oh, he's trying to affect me from being able to produce evidence in court. No, I'm not. You can go ahead and produce all that evidence. But if it's my copyright and you're doing things improperly, I have the right to protect my content on this platform. Public, private, unlisted, whatever. YouTube notified me. Every time that video was uploaded, they notified me by email right away. Highly sensitive, highly urgent. If your channels are removed, you have no one to blame but yourself. You accuse me of being broke, living off my family, not having any money, yet I have a private server and all this other stuff. your money bags and you can't even afford $20-$30 a month to have a Dropbox to more so professionally file your filings with the court? You just made $1,000 inciting your audience to donate to release another parody of me tomorrow, but you can't afford to properly host your videos for the court, so you use YouTube as an evidence locker, and then your videos get flagged, and I have the right to enforce my likeness and copyright. You get mad? What the hell, man? And as far as the Patty thing, Patty was in the chat tonight, laughing her head off. Right? You don't think I'm going to present that to the judge if her non-party filings are questioned? And they may be questioned because I have requested an expedited hearing after I filed my motion because of all the docket cluttering going on. You filed your motion to enforce confidentiality agreement. I didn't breach the confidentiality agreement. You even said, well, what if hypothetically you said, what if I did file a motion that wasn't, something I was going to ever ask for a hearing for or something like that, right? Well, you said it hypothetically, right? But I can read between the lines. In essence, you're saying, hey, if I want to file a motion 2.5 weeks before a major dispositive hearing, okay, that has no merit, I can do that. Sure, you can. But if it materially affects me from being able to prepare for the anti-SLAPP, and just because I'm mentally, emotionally, and spiritually and physically prepared for it, I still have things to put together, even if my filings are pretty much almost done. I've got to practice and juggle things and be sure that I am ready to speak properly. There's a lot more to it than just having the files ready. So when I said all that, yeah, am I mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually prepared for that? Sure. But there's still things that need to be done up until the hearing date. Okay? And there needs to be time to reread motions and go over them over and over again so it sticks in your head. That's preparation. It's materially affecting me, and you know it. And that's why I think you did it, in my opinion. You're never going to admit it, but that's why you did it. And you're trying to tell me that Patty just went and just filed in your case without you telling her? You can say that publicly, and I'm not going to accuse you on something I don't have proof of. But in my opinion, I don't think Patty would do something like that unless she's told to do it. Because I don't think Patty would want to affect your case. So you can sit here and say whatever you want, right? And that way you retain your favorite thing, sir, plausible deniability, right? You retain plausible deniability by just omitting certain things. If you don't say it, you're not lying, but you're also not telling the truth. So if you keep it vague, which is what I'm trying to say, then it can't be used against you. My expedited motion was filed yesterday. It was filed with 2 hours left before the court closed in Seminole County. So I filed it 2:55 Eastern time, which is 11:55 a.m. Pacific time, my time. So there was 2 hours to respond to it yesterday and the full 8 hours today, and I didn't hear back from the JA. That means this has been escalated probably more than likely to the court, aka Judge Stacy, right? Monday, they will probably get back to me or get back to us, and we'll know more. What I'm looking for is case management. Okay? I'm not trying to change the hearing date of April 9th. If you stop filing things besides the anti-SLAPP stuff for right now, if non-parties stop filing things and you don't file unnecessary collateral motions, you stick to the anti-SLAPP and the MTD, no problem. But if you continue to do things that I feel are going to prejudice me from being able to properly prepare for this hearing, then I will request a continuance. The continuance is a backup. I'm asking the court, aka Judge Stacy, for case management guidance, meaning that all the filings, your filings, you're a party to the case, file whatever you want. But all the non-party filings from Tammy last year, and I believe she may have filed one at the beginning of this year. I can't remember. But all the filings that she filed, now Patty's coming in, and she's coming in literally 2 weeks before the major hearing. Am I supposed to believe that that is coincidence? Are you kidding me? Your people are here watching me. I have 46 people. Your people are here watching me. Most of them can't stand me when I've done nothing wrong to them. They can't stand me because you've painted me to be something I'm not. You have painted me to be something I'm not. You continue to rehash things that are 7, 8 years old that I never did. They were things said in private, and you spin it out of context and assert it as a false factual statement because that keeps you in control, right? And then now you want to use that in court. Go ahead and try to use it in court. First of all, it's beyond the statute, like I said earlier. Second of all, you can use it as pattern evidence, but what are you going to try to prove? Like this has been Eli's pattern of behavior? Your Honor, I was new to YouTube back then. A lot of these people were doing a lot of things to me, and I was under a lot of distress, and I said some things I shouldn't have said in private. They ended up leaking out, and now I've learned to just not do that. But I never took those actions. I never harmed anyone. And even though I showed a picture of that house, sir, what harm did it cause you or your family? No one showed up at your house, right? But you just want to use whatever you can on me and amplify it to make me continuously look worse and then exploit me commercially, monetarily. Your stream, when you started it off earlier tonight, it sounded like you didn't know which way you wanted to go. You were starting to talk, and once I put my stream from earlier today, the private, temporarily, because I didn't want you to exploit it. That's it. It's back to public now. It's all preserved. It's right there. Hey, Luke, how you doing? Welcome. Great to see you, man. 1 minute delay between what I say and what goes out. Testing. We're good. And then you went into my content. And then you started playing those old, harassing, defamatory clips, right? I think, sir, you feel the need to continuously harm me. For some reason, you know I have never harmed anyone. You know all I've ever done is overreact because of what happened to me. You know that. But you continue to choose the path of asserting that these things that happened are factual, and you take them out of context, which makes them defamatory. You accusing me of doxing Brianna is defamatory. You republished it tonight. And it's defamatory because I didn't do it. What I did was I had a private conversation with ODN. So if I were to subpoena Brianna into our court case and ask her under penalty of perjury if I doxed her, she would say, no, I didn't do it. And remember, she was coming at me. All I wanted people to do was to stop harassing me and defaming me. So again, you know what? If you want to come out and say, yeah, Eli had a private conversation with ODN. He was talking about doxing people. He was frustrated. And he was talking about potentially doxing people and this and that. Okay? That would be a truthful statement. But you're saying I actually did it, which I didn't. There's a big difference there. That contrast will be brought in front of the Honorable Judge Susan Stacy. Right? And as we go through all of this and the pattern starts to clearly make sense, when I ask you for proof and you can't provide it, because here's the thing, every one of my filings, for the most part, unless it's not necessary, I've got lots of exhibits and lots of video and screenshot proof. And it's all the proof I have is current within the statute of limitations. Excuse me. And I'm going to have to also say, hey, what's the relevance? How does this affect you? How did my private conversation with ODN, talking about Brianna, talking about JB, how does me talking about these other people have anything to do with you? Right? Now, none of those things you're saying is true. I told you what the truth was. But let's hypothetically speak like you did on your stream earlier. If, let's say all those things were true, I didn't do those things to you. The one thing I did was the home thing. I apologize for that. I never did it again. And let me tell you what courts look at, sir. They look at repetitive action. That's why in order to get a stalking order, you need to have 2 instances in a 6-month period. Right? They understand people make honest mistakes. They have moments. You, sir, try to come up like you're a forgiving person, but you're not, sir. You don't understand that people are human and they make mistakes. That doesn't define who they are. But ironically, when you make the same mistakes that you accuse other people of, you come out and say, hey, I had a moment, I made a mistake. You had a moment, you made a mistake. But when I have a moment and make a mistake, it's front page news, right? And it's taken out of context, and it's stated as a defamatory statement, a false statement as fact. It's about playing my entire stream and commercially exploiting it and making funds to make caricature parodies of me, right? Like I've been saying lately, what's good for the goose isn't good for the gander, right? You really are a hypocrite. You are a huge hypocrite. I used to call you an intentional hypocrite. But I honestly think, in my opinion, from what I'm seeing now, I honestly think it's far deeper than that. I think there's something bothering you deep within yourself, right? And for some reason, you seem to always want to one-up me. You seem to always come back to me. And you seem to always want to paint me in a negative light, even when I do good things. I've done many good things. Have I made mistakes? Absolutely. I'm not perfect. But you have painted me in a way constantly that is not who I am. And you go out of your way to constantly do that and keep doing that. I just don't understand why. If you're a nice, down-to-earth, loving, decent, forgiving person, like you try to come off now, right? Then why do you keep pushing this stuff with me? I don't care if you talk about me every day. I don't care if you do fair use, properly use small clips. Okay? I don't care if you insult me. What I care about is you defaming me and massively exploiting my content, my copyright, violating my copyright. You can't stop. You cannot stop. When people ask you to reasonably stop, you get very triggered and you say, don't tell me what to do. I can do whatever I want. It's a free country. It's freedom of speech. It's fair use. You come up with every single fucking excuse on the planet, right? And you try to hide behind the law or supposed law or some label or some whatever. You try to hide behind all that. But what are you really hiding behind? What are you really trying to mask? What's really going on deep within? What's really going on deep within? Has this become your identity? Has this become your main income source? Has this become your purpose? Have I become your purpose? Because that's what it appears like. It appears like I've become your purpose. It appears like you're stuck on me like glue. Right? The world is not out to get you, Jamie. The world is not out to get you. I'm not out to get you. I'm not out to screw you over. You unbelievably sent me an email back tonight after I flipped my video back to public and made you aware. I took care of your request right away. I was going to do it anyway. But if you were to ask me for another video that's private that you need, I would get it to you right away. But you question that. You question everything. You question things that don't need to be questioned. Somebody somewhere somehow really, really screwed you over one day, and it's caused you an incredible amount of trauma, and it's given you trust issues. It's like you can't trust anyone, man. How can you live life that way when you have such massive, massive trust issues where you have to question every little thing that everyone does? Even when people are trying to be authentic with you, you question everything, man. And seriously, that gets old after a while. People don't want to be around people like that, where things are questioned like that all the time. Everything that I've done in this case has been legitimate, and I've gotten you everything you need legitimately. Do you understand that the way that you win a case is by being honest and not making it difficult for the other party or the judge or the court, right? Or the court staff. Your job, my job, is to make it as easy as possible on each other and the court to come up with a resolution when we couldn't come up with a resolution outside of court. I tried to resolve this with you out of court, and you kept giving me the big F you. So I had enough of your bird, so I took you to court. And everyone knows that, including people on your own side, including other people that have been close to you. Everyone knows that. Imagine building your whole channel off one guy. Rent-free is an understatement. You're right, ODN. Babe, do you have a quote? Get your quote in there. I'm going to be going off the air in just a little bit. Let's turn off. Now, let me do this. I'm going to take a quick break, and I'm going to come back for just 15 more minutes and wrap this up, okay? Let me do this. Let me cue up some royalty-free YouTube music. All right, music is all queued up. I'm going to step away for a quick break. When I return, I'm going to wrap things up, and my lady's going to get her quote if she has one. So, stick around. We'll be right back. are back live. All right, let's just go ahead and scratch it and get right back down to business. Welcome back to Navigating the Modern World with Eli. I'm at a loss for words. I really am. I was let me first say this. Dawn wanted me to wish you all good night. She was tired, so she's sleeping. I'm going to be joining her very shortly here. But before we get back to it, let me make sure that the audio is working fine. Give me just a second here. Give me a second. There it is. All right, let's just go ahead and scratch it and get right back down to business. Welcome back to Navigating the Modern World with Eli. All right. All is well. All is rolling well. I was thinking during the break. And to put it out there, people are wondering, why am I talking about this during ongoing litigation? I'd rather not talk about it. But the bottom line is, I don't have a choice but to talk about it. My reputation continues to be harmed from false factual statements. And people are believing it. People are believing it. They are legitimately believing it, and it's affecting me and my reputation, so I have to talk about it. I can't just sit here and avoid this whole thing while the defendant goes and makes content off of me all the time, makes lots of money off my name and likeness, commercially exploits me, and uses false statements as fact to do it, to keep the audience supercharged so they keep coming back. And that's not fair to me. I shouldn't have to sit around. I shouldn't have to be gagged during a public civil case. I'm not going to be gagged. I can talk about this in a professional and proper way. And I'm trying to be as calm as possible, but put yourself in my shoes. Many of you out there have told me that if you were in my shoes and even 1/4 or 1/3 or 1/10 of this was done to you, you would handle this differently. And I know what you mean by that. And that's a reaction that any normal human being would have. Most of us would not act upon that. But I get why people feel that way, right? Have you folks out there ever thought of putting yourself in other people's shoes? And if what you're sitting there endorsing and paying and supporting was happening to you, how would you feel about that? Does it not matter just because it's not happening to you? And if so, how can you say you're a decent person if you feel that way? If you're okay with it happening to someone else because it's entertaining to you, makes you feel better about yourself, but you wouldn't be okay if it was happening to you, right? And if you don't think this hasn't affected my life, hasn't caused me emotional distress, and then there are people saying, well, it's YouTube. If you can't handle it, then leave. I'm not going to give up what I enjoy doing because I'm being harmed. That's why we're in court. But forget about the court. Forget about the whole thing. Does this all seem normal to you? Are you folks truly okay with this? Are you? I can't tell you what to do. I can't even ask you to stop. I won't, because it's not going to change a thing. But I'm asking you folks to have a morality check. Because a lot of you on the side of the defendant, the people from the audience of the defendant and himself, a lot of you like to pass judgment on others. And you like to call other people out on how they're harming you. But when the harm is on the flip side, it's okay. So none of you like being harmed over there, and you've called it out. But you're all okay with me being harmed in this way? Does that even make sense? Does that even make sense? And again, just because I'm in active litigation, does that mean I have to just sit back and continue to take the abuse while the wheels of justice turn slowly? By the time this case is done, if I don't continue to stand up for myself and for what I do out here and for what I believe in, there'd be no way to recover from it. At least me standing up for it allows me the chance to share the truth, and it may resonate with some people. And it may even get some people that have the wrong impression of me to understand what's really happening here. And if you think this is only about one person, if you think this is only about the defendant, he's the main player. That's why he got sued. He's the head of the snake. If you don't think that there aren't a lot of third parties and people acting in concert, and I'm not accusing, I'm just putting it out there and saying this is a coordinated attack. This has been a coordinated attack for years. In this case alone, there have been 2 non-parties that have tried to intervene without leave of court, meaning permission from the judge, in this case, Judge Stacy, right? The defendant tonight said that the reason why Patty's trying to get a protective order is because you inserted her in this case when you shouldn't have. Really? Same thing with Tammy? Really? The fact that all 3 of you attempted to get stalking orders on me in the same state of Florida, in the same ecosystem throughout your group, and all 3 of them were dismissed? Tammy's and Patty's were dismissed because they both failed to appear. They both accused me of some very, very, very nasty stuff that I didn't do. And then they failed to appear. So, Mr. Jamie, Patty fails to appear, and now she wants to try to keep her name out of the court case when she was a part of this with the stalking orders. And then Tammy shared a screenshot of Patty's service papers with the case number a day before I got served. And Tammy said, "Here you go, Eli. Sheriff's be around to serve you soon." Do you think that doesn't justify putting them in? That's why I wrote my complaint the way I did. I added those people because I knew this is exactly what would happen. And that is all now a part of my complaint. It's called background context. and background context. That's what the factual allegations are for, and the exhibits are for. Is it just coincidence, Jamie, that all three of the stalking orders, if you look at them, they assert the same exact things? A lot of those videos, right? The same videos you're trying to use now in this case. Both Tammy and Patty, and then you, all have tried to use similar information on those stalking orders regarding the things I talked about during the first part of this show, regarding things that happened 7 or 8 years ago on a private call. And what does that have to do with how I've harmed any of you? I haven't harmed any of you. If I had harmed you, you would have had actual proof and you would have gotten an order on me, but you didn't. None of you got an order on me. And then the fact that Tammy tried to steal my business years ago. That was a really, really horrible move. And she even said it on a live stream late last year or early this year. It was late last year, I believe. So you want to question why I added them on the complaint? Because they're a part of your ecosystem. And it shows a pattern of what's been going on through your ecosystem, sir. That doesn't mean I'm violating any of them. They both filed stalking orders on me. They're both a part of your ecosystem. They both support you on your live streams. They both have donated to you. They both talk mad shit in the chat about me on your streams. They're both moderators on your channel. But when it's convenient for you, plausible deniability, oh, well, I had no idea, or I didn't tell Patty to file in the case. Well, then who did? Because she wouldn't have done it. I know Patty would not do something like that unless she was asked. I don't think Patty would have even filed a stalking order that ironically was very similarly written as the one that Tammy wrote. And then Tammy shares the service papers the night before on her community wall. And you're trying to sit here and tell me there's no reason for me to put them in the factual allegations in the complaint? What would you do if you were in my shoes? He doesn't care. He has been doing this to you for years. He only cares when someone upsets him. No, he only cares when he's being held accountable. He doesn't like the fact that we're in court. He doesn't want to be held accountable. He wants to be able to do this, make a ton of money, and get away with it scot-free. That's what he cares about. What he's mad about is the fact that he's being severely challenged in a full-blown circuit civil case that he never thought he would have to deal with. And one more thing before I go here. This is very old. This is the same old repetitive stuff for years. It's the same old repetitive stuff for years. How come it never gets old to this group of people? It's the same old thing. Okay, you don't like me. Okay, you think I did this, you think I did that. Because all Jamie's doing is repeating the same stuff from years ago. And then saying, oh, hey, I'm going to make a cartoon on Eli if you pay me $1,000. Right now, because of what's going on with this war we're a part of, and gas prices are going up and prices are going up, and every penny counts, the fact that you folks are donating $1,000 to a stupid parody video of me is asinine to me. It's asinine. You have the right to do it. You have the right to spend your money any way you want to spend it. He has the right to make parody as long as he's not defaming me. We'll see about that. He's going to release it tomorrow. We'll see. Right? And yeah, he's also been on this Afro Man kick because Afro Man, won his lawsuit. But Afro Man's lawsuit was different. Afro Man was sued by the cops and was defending himself. And that was the police. This is a completely different case. This involves a smear campaign for years. This involves defamatory statements that are still being made to this day, causing me severe reputational harm that I have to constantly fight every single day. I don't have a whole lot more to say. I think I've said most of everything here. I really think this is nonsense. It's ridiculous. And I really think we all need to move forward from it. I'm going to say this one more time. You folks out there in the audience, in the chats, in the comment sections, you all have choices. You have choices who and what to support, right? If you want to make this world a better place, you have to start within yourself and ask yourself, why am I doing this? Right? Ask yourself, why am I doing this? Why am I donating money and spending time on someone's channel that is obsessed and constantly ridiculing and exploiting one man that just wants to do good? I'm not a bad person. I care about people very deeply. I said some things years ago that were taken way out of context because this guy, Jamie, knows how to spin things to make them sound more damning than they are. I'm not proud of what I said years ago. I'm not proud of what I said, but I didn't do those actions. I've never harmed anyone. I reacted and overreacted because I was new to YouTube. And I was being attacked, harassed, doxxed, everything. I went through all that. And Jamie wants to forget that. And everyone that was around back then wants to forget that. You guys forget the things you want to forget, and you only focus on what makes you feel better about yourself. all I can do is ask you folks to dig deep and really understand what's going on. I really want to make a difference in this world to help people. I want to reach more people. Because I want to help turn people's lives around for the better. And that's what I've been doing all my life. Just because I had those moments years ago that this guy continues to publicly exploit, and he continues this constant smear campaign to paint me as something I'm not. That doesn't define who I am. It's not who I am. I truly want to help people. I want to reach more people, more positive people. And you know what? Even people that aren't too fond of me, I don't hate any of you. I don't hate any of you. I really hope one day we can all just get along. You know, I really hope to the people that truly enjoy my content, wherever you watch it, whether it's here or on unauthorized restreams and stuff, I really hope maybe one day instead of those restreams, you can come here and be a part of the positivity we're trying to put out there. And don't let the defendant, Jamie, spin things out of context. What's positive about talking about court and this and that? I have to do that because of what's going on. I have to do that. I'm going to fight for what I believe in. I'm going to fight for what I've been building and we've been building here at the GNA. I'm going to fight for that. So at times, it may appear like it's not positive, but it's meant to be positive. I'm here to stand up for what's right, not just for myself, for everyone. ODN TV, I'm sorry, he won't stop talking. You, bro, it's weird. Anyways, have a good night. Good night, broski. I'm going to be going off the air very soon myself here. Just think about it. If you have any moral compass, think about it. Because it could turn your life around and make you a better person. Do you really need to go support someone that's defaming someone constantly to feel better about yourself? Do you really need that? Do you really see it as a productive use of your time and financial investment? Ask yourself those questions. Because even if you're not ready to see the light on what's really going on, at some point you will see the light. At some point, every single person that's been supporting this smear campaign regarding me for years is going to see the light, and they're going to be like, wow, this is really stupid. This has gone on way too long. I really hope more and more of you understand what's truly going on here. I'm standing up for my reputation. I'm standing up for what I've worked hard for and what I've been trying to build for years. And again, I don't hate any of you. I don't. I feel a lot of you are going through things. You're dealing with a lot emotionally, right? And all that. I don't want to pass judgment. Maybe in the past I've overreacted because of all this, and it's still not an excuse because of this, but I've overreacted because of this that's going on. And I've said some things about people being mentally ill and stuff like that out of frustration. And even if there's some truth to that, that's not the right way to approach it, because it's going to upset people and offend people. But I'm human, and when I'm attacked constantly, not just by Jamie, one person, but by many people in his ecosystem, eventually it takes a toll on you. Any one of you in my situation would have snapped a long time ago. Any one of you that had, if you would have gone through 1/3 or 1/4 of what I've been through, you would have probably left YouTube a long time ago. You would have given up. I'm still here. I'm still fighting for what I believe in. And you should also always fight for what you believe in and never give up. Alex the Beer Master, good morning. Legendary Eli, I hope you're doing well, my friend. And I am appreciate you, and cheers, my friend. Hey, man, it's great to see you, man. It has been a while. God bless you. I've been busy with court stuff, Alex. I think you know. I've taken Jamie to court. I really hope one day you folks see the light. And Dawn has been very supportive. Dawn's an amazing woman. Oh, yeah, let me wrap up by saying this, Jamie. You know, when you can't win on the merits, which is quite often, you cannot win on the merits. You use plausible deniability and you attack and insult people, right? And then you attack my woman. You talk shit about my woman. You say all these nasty, very nasty sexualized things about her. But you get upset when anyone mentions something positive about your girlfriend or gives their opinion, right? About your girlfriend, right? That we don't know her full name. We don't know what she looks like or anything. Yeah, because I think you told me that a long time ago. Oh, yeah. Right on, Alex. 1 minute delay between what I say and what goes out on these live streams while they're live. Why hit below the belt, Jamie? Why hit below the belt? When you hit below the belt, it makes people feel like they want to hit you below the belt, right? And I don't want to play that game. Maybe I have in the past, but I've never instigated a game like that. You instigate things all the time. And I think part of it's your content, but I think a lot of it is who you are. And it's just your ego. It's just who you are. You're a very defensive, emotionally reactive person. I don't know where this is stemming from. There's something that's really bothering you that you still haven't worked through, Jamie. I don't know what it is. But I've never, ever met any man that's as emotionally overreactive as you are. You are one of the most emotionally overreactive, not just men, but people in general. I mean, you're more emotionally overreactive than most women I know. It's almost like you can't handle the truth. It's almost like you can't handle the truth. Right? And when you can't handle the truth and, respond to your, let's say, opponents per se with merit, when you can't win on the merits, which is quite often, or when you can't win on the merit, which is quite often, you hit below the belt, right? Most people see that. Your audience doesn't see that, right? But most people that have come and gone from your community over the years, they have seen that about you. You've lost many people over the years. You've been able to maintain a small audience of people that continue to pay you, which is why you still do it. But you're still stuck. You're still stuck on the Eli thing for some reason. I just don't get it. You probably feel like if you just let it go and stop doing it, you probably will feel like you're letting your audience down, or you're conceding, or you're just giving up. I think you're more afraid about what your audience and the public, the people in public here on YouTube that support you, I think you care more about how they feel about you rather than just doing what's right. Because here's the thing, James, I don't give a shit about what people think about me. I say that respectfully. Like I care about what the right people think about me, but I don't care about the insults and all that stupid shit. I don't. You say you don't care about that, but your actions show otherwise. I honestly don't care about what people think about me. Okay? You think that his girlfriend's a little bit overweight and she would probably... Oh, well. Elias definitely going to win this case, and we'll have to pay. Well, this case is just about injunctive relief. The federal copyright case, once I get the certificates very soon, that's where statutory damages will come in. The civil case is just to get him to stop the behavior that's affecting me, that's caused me reputational harm and emotional distress and all that. You can't win on the merits. That's why people like you and Bill, Jamie, when I ask you guys questions, you guys rebroadcast me, so I start asking you questions I know you won't answer, because answering them truthfully doesn't make you look good in front of your audience, right? You don't like the fact that I've been giving you all a taste of your own medicine. You guys ask me about my living situation, my finances, and all that. And when I ask you guys the same thing, you say, I don't want to answer that. I don't want to answer that. Really? So you don't want to answer the same stuff that you demand answers on from me, right? So you see the contrast there, right? You don't like the fact that I'm tackling this head on. And I'm basically taking what you're saying and throwing it back at you and asking you, why won't you answer the same thing? Right? You guys accuse me of all the same stuff that you guys are doing, right? You guys talk about, Eli lives off his estate, lives with his mom, and this and that. No. Don and I share a house with my mom. We've got an entire floor. It's the in-log unit. I've got a studio for YouTube, a nice big living room, a nice bedroom, a bathroom, shower, kitchen, everything, separate from the main house. And we pay our own way. We take care of our own way, right? You guys make all this stuff up, right? That's what you say, Jamie, constantly. You talk about, I live off my mom, my estate. That stuff I said years ago was out of frustration. I was triggered. All that stuff I said was because I just wanted to shove it in your face. Why? Because you guys kept doing that to me. And I realized, that was 5-6 years ago? I realized, you know what? That's stupid. And now, the way I'm handling it is saying, look, you live with your mom too, James. And Bill, you live with your mom too. And many people in this group, they live with their parents. Most of them probably don't pay rent. I'm not going to accuse because I don't know. But the funny thing is you guys accuse me of doing the same exact shit that you accuse me of doing. And all I'm doing now is putting it out there in a way that is forcing you to answer questions you don't want to and letting your audience see the contrast, right? All right, I'm going to wrap this up. I'm on longer than I thought I would be. 1 hour and 49 minutes. You guys got a bonus tonight. You got an in-studio stream. Haven't done one in over a month? This guy's going to release a parody on me tomorrow. Of course, you're all going to watch it. Of course, you're all going to laugh. You guys paid for it. Fine. Right? I'm going to look at it and see what he does. If it's clean, if it's not defamatory, it is my caricature. I've seen the preview. It's my caricature. It's recognizable. If it's not defamatory, all good. If it's defamatory and actionable, we'll see. Right? But honestly, is it really a big deal? Ooh, a cartoon on me. I don't care about the cartoons. I care about defamation. And I care about commercial exploitation. And I care about my copyright and my likeness. Just like in the same ways that you folks would care about those same things. But you all go enjoy that cartoon tomorrow that you paid $1,000 for. And I'll keep doing what I'm doing. And eventually, you will all see what it truly means for justice to be served. With that being said, have a good one. Take care. And as always, be good to each other.